Wasn't the prettiest, wasn't the cleanest, was not the least stressful, but the boys needed a W and they got a big W tonight. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners defeat the Astros tonight 4-3 to improve to 4-7 on the season. And if they can find a way to win tomorrow night, they will have their first series win of this young season. Before I dive any further, you guys know the drill. Hit that like button. I cannot thank you all enough. The likes are incredible. The support's been incredible. Keep commenting your thoughts on the team and the game down below. I like I said, I love the comments that are still positive on the team, and I don't even mind the ones. I like the ones that are negative on the team too. I totally get both sides of it. So keep them coming. No worries either way. This is your place to either support the team or blow off steam. I don't care either way. Comment your thoughts down below. And if you're new here, just lurking, please do hit that subscribe button. I am trying to get to 5,000 subs this year. I'm closing in on it, not super close, but getting closer. And that's thanks to all of you. So if you guys can hit that sub button, I would truly, truly appreciate it. Like I said, not the prettiest win ever. It probably could have been a lot easier. We'll talk about that 8th inning here, which was wild on both sides of the ball. Logan was fantastic. Would have been nice to get him more run support. So it's not the 10-0 win that I think a lot of us need just to breathe a little bit, but they got a W. It felt like there's no must win in game 11, but man, 3 of 8 would have hurt. And if they would have lost after that 8th inning, that would have really stung. I was ready to just come on here, bury my head and just go, Logan was good. Blew it in the 8th. Offense couldn't do anything. Have a great night, everybody. That was going to be the recap. But they find a way to come back. How clutch and good has Jorge Polanco's bat been? Just stay healthy. He was DHing tonight. I don't care if that's where he's got to be all year. This is the Polanco the Mariners traded for last season. You are finally seeing it. A tremendous clutch 2-out base hit, which wins the game. Again, there's no season-saving win in April, but it felt like one they needed to get. And like I said, it wasn't always pretty. It wasn't easy, but I sat in the early 90s in the Kingdom watching the Seahawks and some Mariners. I've seen my basketball team get taken away, my hockey team here down in Arizona get taken away. Yeah, I'm going to be happy when my team wins. I don't care if it's the Seahawks beating the Bears 6-3 on Thursday night or the Mariners sloppily beating the White Sox 1-0 or something. A win is a win. At the end of the day, I can break down all the exit velos, WRC pluses, FIPS, strikeout percentages. If you don't win the games, you can't get into the dance. Mariners have a lot more wins they've got to get, but at the end of the day, they walk away with a win. And the way this season has gone so far, very nice to see that. So let's dive into the box score for this Mariners win. Logan Gilbert was absolutely fantastic, 5 2/3. Only the one hit. It was the solo home run to Altuve. 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. I think Logan had, I am going to check Savant. I think he had 17 or 18 swings and misses tonight. It was something really large for Logan Gilbert. Let me just check on Savant real quick. But Logan was absolutely fantastic, filthy tonight. I know the Astros have not hit much either. It's a lineup that to me feels a little top heavy. They do have some balance and guys that'll hit better at the bottom of the order, but it's very right-handed heavy as well. But I thought Logan was dialed in from pitch one. The only thing that hurt him really, I think the Astros did have some pitches they spoiled, fouled off a little bit. Logan did get deeper into some counts that probably prevented him from being able to go 6 or 7 in this game. But he was absolutely fantastic. Cy Young performance. Logan has been off to a tremendous start this season. 3 quality starts. I guess technically the second one wasn't a quality start by the standards, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, but the 10 strikeouts is fantastic. It's a shame that Logan Gilbert doesn't have a win yet. 2.55 ERA. Wins and losses is not how anybody should evaluate a pitcher, but it is frustrating for a pitcher that his team can't back him up and get him a win, because Logan certainly deserved a win tonight. Let's see what it was for Logan in terms of swings and misses tonight for Logan Gilbert. Let's see if I can pull it up here. 17 swings and misses tonight for Logan Gilbert. So fantastic. I'm wondering if that's a season high for Mariners pitchers. Maybe Logan against Detroit with the 10 strikeouts may have been higher, but like I said, fantastic outing from the ace, and an outing that you needed, right? We talk about it when a team is scuffling. You're only as good as your next day starting pitcher. When we had Felix, you always felt like you had a chance when Felix went out to the mound no matter what. Now we have a team that we hope and think can maybe compete. And you've got a lot of great pitchers on this staff, but Logan doing what an ace needs to do, and that's go out there when the team is in a little scuffling a little bit and deliver an outstanding performance. The only negative would have been pitch count a little lower, go 6-7 innings, but Logan was absolutely fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, how about Trent Thornton tonight? Inning and a third, 2 strikeouts, no walks, no hits. Probably a good lineup to use Trent Thornton against a very right-handed heavy lineup. Trent Thornton is good against right-handed hitters, and you saw that tonight. Gets into a little bit of trouble against the lefties, but Thornton was as good as I have seen him tonight, dialed in. Even the balls put in play, I think, were soft grounders. Just absolutely fantastic. A couple strikeouts. Thornton was really good. I'm kind of to the point, it's funny. Game 1, I was a little bit, why is Thornton the 8th inning guy here before Munoz, or the first righty before Munoz? I don't know. Kind of looking at it now, we'll talk about Santos here in a second. Certainly Dylan Moore let him down. And again, we'll talk about that, but Santos hasn't looked great with the command, doesn't have a strikeout yet this year. The stuff is nasty, but it's got to produce results. Taylor's not back yet. Brash isn't back yet. Snyder hasn't, I don't know, they haven't really used Snyder in that role, but he hasn't looked great. Bizzardo's been very up and down. You don't know what you're getting. Vargas has looked decent, but I think it's fair to have Thornton over those guys. If you take a step back and breathe and look at it, I don't think they've really done anything. Dan's really done anything wrong by using Thornton. When you do take a step back and look at where the bullpen is out, maybe, Snyder being sort of lower on the pecking order is kind of odd. But again, when he's pitched, he's looked pretty average so far this year. So Thornton's had a few really nice outings. Listen, Thornton's never going to be, Mariano Rivera, 2006-7 JJ Putz, Edwin Diaz type. He's going to be susceptible to the long ball. He's never going to be great against lefties, but he can be a weapon, and you saw where he can be a weapon tonight. Okay, let's talk about the 8th inning. Gregory Santos, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs. Neither of them earned. Neither of them earned 2 walks, no strikeouts. That does put Santos now at 5 walks, no strikeouts. That's not the only way we can evaluate a pitcher, and he is a ground ball guy. So, ground ball guys are going to be better at not giving up big innings. They can induce the double plays and stuff like that. So it's not wildly important that Santos is a strikeout guy, but he's pitched 5 2/3 this year, and he's got a walk per inning, and he hasn't struck out a batter. So it's a little concerning. I didn't mind Dan leaving Santos in that game to face Walker. I think you can make a case that they should have gone to Gabe Spire to start the inning. I think Spire has been the better reliever against lefties or righties. The command's been better. The stuff looks fantastic. I think Spire should be the 8th inning guy for the most part, unless it's just righties that Thornton can handle, or a situation where we want to go to Munoz. Truthfully, maybe Andres Munoz against Walker would have been the best call. But Dylan Moore botched the ground ball. I am a little surprised on how much heat Dan is taking for that. Walking Yordan Alvarez, in my opinion, was the right call. It looked like, so what happened is bases it was 1st and 3rd with, let's bring up the play-by-play, because sometimes you guys can tell my brain sometimes fails me when I go back through and I want to get things right if I'm going to be discussing it. So let's get to the 8th inning. 6th, 7th. Are we in the 8th? Okay. Jake Myers singled, solid line drive. Dubon bunted. Thank you. We'll take the out. Wild pitch moved Myers to 3rd. Altuve walked. Paredes lined out to Julio. That's right. That's what I was missing. Great play by Julio. Great catch. Got the ball and quickly held a good runner in Myers at 3rd base. Really nice play by Julio Rodriguez there. Yordan Alvarez is up. Runners at the corners, 2 down. Or was it 2nd and 3rd? Altuve stole 2nd, so it was 2nd and 3rd. It was not 1st and 3rd. It was 2nd and 3rd. Gosh, I apologize for that, guys. So it was 2nd and 3rd. Paredes lined out. Great play by Julio. Yordan Alvarez is up, base open. Now, I could understand having Spire pitch to him because if you have Santos walk him, Santos has not had great command, and I could be a little bit worried about him facing a good hitter in Walker with the bases loaded. Dan came out. Spire came out of the bullpen. Everyone thought Spire was coming in. I think it was just a miscommunication. I see people kind of going off on it. I think Dan came out, so they thought that was Spire's cue to come in. I didn't see Dan ever make the call for the lefty. I didn't see the signal to bring in the lefty from Dan. I think he was just coming out to go over some things. There are some managers that do that. Lloyd McClendon did that all the time for the Mariners. Jim Leland was notorious for doing that. Nothing wrong with it. Sometimes the skipper wants to go have a word, and he elected to put Jordan on, which I do think is the right call. I could understand having Spire face him, but I'd rather face Christian Walker than Jordan Alvarez. And then leaving a right-handed pitcher in to face Walker, I don't think is crazy either. I think you could actually make the case Munoz was probably the right call, to be perfectly honest, in that situation. Santos got the ground ball. Dylan Moore botched it. That's a play Dylan Moore has got to make. End of discussion. Dylan Moore has to make that play. I'm not as angry about it now because the Mariners came back and won, but that was going to be my take. Like, Dan left Santos in and Santos got the ground ball. I don't know. Like, good teams win, bad teams don't. Do I think Dan's been perfect? No. Do I think Scott was perfect? No. All managers are imperfect. They all make mistakes. You just hope the talent overcomes those mistakes and that you can get through it. I don't even know if he made a mistake leaving Santos in to face Walker. I didn't have a problem with it. If you did, totally fine. Like, when I say things, it's my opinion on it. You can have other opinions. It's totally fine. I don't think any of these decisions are ever like, oh, it's 100% this and 0% that. Like, unless we're talking about having, me pinch it for Cal Raleigh with the bases loaded, I think everything is defensible. And I didn't have a problem leaving Santos in there. I really didn't. He got the ground ball. Dylan Moore's got to make that play. End of discussion. But Santos was not good on top of that. The outs he got were very lucky. Paredes hit the line drive. Dubon gave himself up. And the one time he does get the grounder, it gets through. So I've not been impressed with Santos necessarily. I did talk about his stuff being filthy, and it still is, but it's got to translate into some weaker contact, and some swing and miss from him would be really nice to have. So certainly not going to demote him or anything. He should still be in that bullpen. But I'd rather see Spire. And truthfully, funny enough, I'd rather see Trent Thornton right now. And obviously Munoz. And Munoz locks it down in the ninth inning with a 1-2-3 with the strikeout. Munoz gets his fourth save of the season. Great ninth inning for Munoz. Great. How about that play by J.P. Crawford? And then I almost forgot about that on Caratini's grounder. What a play by J.P. Changes everything, right? You get that leadoff man on. It puts a little bit more pressure on the pitcher. Munoz does not hold runners on very well, so you can see a guy moving into second base pretty quickly. So a tremendous play by JP. And credit where credit is due. I don't know if he should be on the roster much longer, but Rowdy Tellez did a nice job keeping his foot on the bag with that throw from JP as well. So I will always give credit where it is due. Nice play by JP and Rowdy on the back end. And then Munoz, as always, took care of the rest. Good job by the pitching staff. They allowed 2 hits today. They end up striking out 10, walking 4. Half of those walks were from Santos. Logan was fantastic. Thornton was fantastic. Munoz was fantastic. Santos wasn't, but also should have been out of that inning. So that's your assessment of the pitching staff tonight. Great start from Logan Gilbert. Offense. Listen, Wisniewski threw the ball well. He deserves credit. He was good. He was really good today. He got 14 swings and misses, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 5 Ks. He did throw the ball well. I always want to be fair. If we're going to credit Logan throwing the ball well, then Wisniewski gets credit too. Coming in today, the Mariners had a higher WRC plus than the Astros did. So he did throw the ball well. Do I think the Mariners could have and should have done more? Always. I feel like that's just a given anytime we're talking about the offense. But he did throw the baseball well today for the Astros. First inning looked actually promising. The Mariners didn't score, but Polanco had a line drive that was caught. Randy had a base hit. It wasn't hit very hard, but got the base knock. And then Cal stung one at about 100. It was a grounder, but was it Caratini at first base today, or was it? It was Walker. Walker made a great play. That could have been down the line, scored a run. I was actually encouraged. I thought we were going to get a pretty big offensive day. Didn't happen. The bats kind of fell asleep the rest of the way. They didn't make a lot of hard contact until Bliss's home run. We'll talk about that. Um, but on a night they won, they did enough. And then a nice eighth inning rally as well. So we'll get into that. Tough day for Julio, 0 for 4. Tough at bat for him in the eighth. I didn't love that bunt from JP. Obviously, that wasn't JP's decision. It was the coaching staff in front of Julio. We've kind of seen Julio struggle in those spots with striking out. I don't mind Julio being up with second and third and one out. And I get JP's not exactly swinging the bat well either. But I'd probably give JP the opportunity there and see. And hopefully, worst case is he does just advance the runners. That was a tough at bat for Julio. And he also missed a hanging slider from Abreu in that eighth inning, pulled it down the left field line. He straightens that up. It would have been a double in the gap for sure, but you got to take advantage of that. Abreu's a great pitcher. You're not going to get many hangers from him. You kind of see that happen and you go, he's not going to come. It's not going to happen this at bat because you don't get many hangers from pitchers like Abreu. So rough game from Julio, 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts. Jorge Polanco DH'd today, 1 for 4 with a 2-run single, and it was a big one. The game winner. Polanco's bat has been so good. This, like I said earlier, is the Jorge Polanco that they traded for last season. You're seeing why myself, other fans were very, very excited to get him in here last year to solve that second base problem. Didn't work out. It's looking like so far a pretty good move to bring him back. Now, you're not being able to use him in the field. Victor Robles goes on the IL. Dom Canzone was recalled today as well. Polanco DHing, that's fine. That may be where he where he ends up, honestly. So I'm not against it, but you're going to have to make some roster moves elsewhere. I don't trust Dylan Moore as just the everyday third baseman. I like Dylan Moore. I think he's a good player, despite the error in the eighth inning, but I don't think he's your everyday third baseman. So we'll kind of see how this plays out here. But offensively, Polanco's bat, beautiful. Great start for Jorge Polanco. Randy was 1 for 4 with a single in the first, his first non-extra base hit of the season. He also, I thought, in the eighth inning was going to get a double into right field there to score an extra insurance run, but it was caught. Looked like off the bat it might drop in. Cal 0 for 3. Not a lot to talk about the offense. Rayleigh 0 for 3. Rowdy Tellez 0 for 3. I thought he had a little parachute that was going to drop in there. He also had a really bad error on a ball, which when who was batting at the time? It was Paredes, because Jordan was on deck, forced Logan to throw a few more pitches. It was pretty routine. It had a little English on it. I get that it moved away from Rowdy. But that's a play he's got to make. With Polanco probably having to DH a lot, I just don't know how much longer you keep Rowdy Tellez on this roster. And truth be told, I'd honestly rather see Dom Canzone get the at-bats. I get it. I'm not saying Canzone's going to be great at all. In fact, he's probably not going to be. But ask yourself, who would you rather see get at-bats? Rowdy Tellez, or would you rather see if there is something in Dom Canzone? I think I'd rather take the shot with Canzone, maybe put him in right and Rayleigh at first. And I'd probably give Solano a few more at-bats against right-handed pitchers as well. We'll see how this plays out. But I think Rowdy's probably going to get through the next road trip. And then I think if it's not working, I think you got to move on. Listen, I don't like calling for guys to be DFA'd and released. I really don't. I'm serious about that. This is their livelihood. I'm sure they are all working their butts off. I'm positive if you've gotten in the major leagues, you have to have a strong work ethic. There's no other way around it. The guys that don't work hard have been weeded out already. They didn't make it to the show. So I respect all of them. And I want Rowdy to turn. I hope Rowdy goes 3 for 4 tomorrow with 3 dingers. Be great. Rowdy Tellez being good would help this baseball team. But he's got to get it going because I think it is going to be a short leash for him. There's just not much he's bringing to the table. Has made a couple nice defensive plays, I will say that. Dylan Moore was 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs scored. Credit for Dylan. He does make the brutal error, which almost cost the game. But a real nice at-bat by Dylan Moore in the bottom of the 8th to lead off that inning with the walk. Could have easily been an at-bat where he sort of tries to do too much, tries to get that run back himself, tries to hit the 5-run home run with nobody on. Really nice at-bat there by Dylan Moore. Didn't try and do too much. didn't let the error get to him, came back out there and did help this team win a ball game, and a big stolen base in that inning as well to move himself into scoring position. So listen, it happens. I'm a little more forgiving of Dylan than Rowdy because Dylan has proven to be a better baseball player. And we're going to see a lot more Dylan Moore if Polanco can't play the field here. So Dylan's off to a great start this year. He really is. Now, we've seen this. Dylan Moore has these hot streaks, and then he has really cold streaks. I don't think he's like all of a sudden a much better player. I think he's kind of the same player he's always been, but that's not a bad baseball player. And when he's hot, he is going to help you. So good game offensively from Dylan Moore. How about Ryan Bliss? 1 for 2 with a 2-run home run. Boy, Bliss needed a big hit and he got it. I really wanted to have a focus on that because I thought that would be the game winner. And the 2-0 or 2-1 would hold up there. And, Bliss would have been a bigger topic of discussion. I've been impressed with Bliss. Like, I know the numbers aren't there, but he's hit the ball pretty well. He's had some deep fly balls that have kind of just been caught at the warning track. Like, I think his batted ball profile's pretty decent. I don't have it up in front of me. After a month, we'll kind of go through and we'll look at everybody, their Savant page and all that stuff and see how they're doing. But I would venture to say Bliss has been a little unlucky to start the year. I feel like he's had some hard contact that hasn't fallen in. He's got a good approach at the plate. He's worked some walks. There's swing and miss. It's there. And he's looked good defensively. So really good to see Ryan Bliss check in with a big hit. And Ryan Bliss is just so easy to root for. That smile is just infectious. And just a really cool player to root for. So I am so pulling for Ryan Bliss to stick on this team and make an impact this year. So great to see that home run. Sneaky pop. Bliss has some sneaky pop. Miles Mastroboni, for some reason, pinched hit for Ryan Bliss. I don't really, honestly, I thought that was probably a worse decision than leaving Santos in to face Walker. But Mastroboni works a walk, he was the winning run. He becoming kind of a walk merchant. But listen, when Mastroboni has played, he's done what he's needed to do. He's looked fine defensively. He had a hit on Friday, which could have scored a winning run potentially. He had a walk in the 9th inning yesterday, which kept the game alive. And he had a big walk today. Like, hey, he's been fine. I don't think he's very good or anything, but he's doing his job. So nice walk there for Mastroboni. And JP was 0 for 2, did have the sacrifice bunt. So great to see the 2-run home run from Bliss. Dylan Moore had a decent game offensively. That's about it. And then Polanco, obviously, with the huge game-winning hit. So good to see them do that because, man, if Abreu would have gotten out of that, after second and third, 1 out, after everything that happened in the top half of the 8th inning, man, that would have been a deflating loss. That would have been such a deflating loss. I mean, we've already had so many. It just would have been one more 11 games into the season. They're not fixed. This isn't hey, now we're going back to the playoffs, but it's got to start somewhere. It was a rough first 10 games. This is that next 10-game pocket. It's off to a good start. So hopefully, and Texas and Houston both lose today. So you gain a game in the division. So, hey, never too early to look at that stuff. Well, probably is, but you know what I mean. Nice win. Logan was dominant. Some tough defensive moments behind some some tough defensive moments behind the relief pitchers, and the offense does just enough. This felt like a Seattle Mariners win. And in the words of the great Kevin Malone, sometimes it's just nice to win one. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Mariners. Peace.